I'm here with my buddy Andrew from Zeisroll, and today we're not messing around at all. We're getting right to it. We're doing the Gorillaz tier list. Chope, how did you get introduced to the Gorillaz?
I think it was Clint Eastwood that I first listened to, and I was like, this is awesome. I really like this. And then after that, I think I listened to Plastic Beach nonstop, and ever since I've been a fan.
Like you find one of their older songs?
Yeah.
For me, it was Feel Good Inc. or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that song used to just play like all the time on the radio. Not only do they make concept albums, the whole idea of the band, air quotes, is a concept in its own. It's a very interesting musical endeavor.
Yeah, it's like the only virtual band that at least I know is good.
All right, so let's start with the oldest. Let's start with the debut album, the 2001 album, Gorillaz.
For me, I'd put it in B tier.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty middle tier. It's pretty average compared to their
I could
their
see
other
it going
stuff.
in B tier. I could. I mean, Clint Eastwood's on there. You got 19-2000. I think this really like set the precedent for like what their sound was. I think they got better after.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, it's not like one of those bands or groups or artists where like the first album is like the best thing they ever do, and then it's like a slow downhill spiral like Weezer. Wait, what? The next one is the 2002 album, Lakita Come Home. I'm going to say it off the bat. This is D. This is probably the worst album the Gorillaz have.
I've never listened to the entire thing. I don't know if I'd say it's the worst thing they've ever made. It's pretty close.
But really, it's a lot of remixes of their first songs, but with like a garbage, a reggae, electronic sound. I just feel like they might have been a bit ahead of their time in a bad way. Like, I think if this album came out in like 2011 instead of 2002, it probably would have been better. But the way the production elements are, it's really cheesy, in my opinion.
I could see that, yeah.
For now, let's put it in D, and then we'll rearrange at the end.
Gotcha.
The 2005 album, Demon Days.
Oh.
Where do we think this one goes?
I mean, I would say A tier.
Yeah, I think that's the S tier Gorillaz album to a lot of people. I think some of their best songs ever. Dare, Kids with Guns, Dirty Harry, Feel Good. I mean, this is almost like their greatest hits album, and it's like it's just one project.
There's like really, really good highs. But then there's some songs that I feel like are a little more forgettable.
Yeah, right around when you get to like Every Planet We Reach is Dead, November Has Come, like it slows down a lot.
They're not bad, but they're just not as memorable.
They've always been a group that's kind of blended genres and blended different musical styles. And to me, this felt like the best mix between alternative rock and electronic and hip hop, like all in one. Like, I think Demon Days is kind of, like, the best at blending all of those elements into one project.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit influential.
We'll leave it at A for now. I think we might have more to discuss later. I forgot, actually, to do G-Sides, which was the B-Sides album off of their debut album in 2001. What I think is actually really interesting about G-Sides in particular is the songs that they cut from the actual debut album I think are actually really good as well. Ghost Train, Hip Albatross, as well as Latin Simone are actually three pretty solid songs. I think other artists would be honored to have an album like G-Sides.
Yeah.
Just at all in their discography. It's probably a C tier. It's not bad. It's not a bad listen.
They set the bar too high.
Yeah, that's true. Now we're going to move on to the Demon Days B-Sides album, D-Sides. Have you heard this one?
Yeah, I have. This one I actually kind of like.
Yes.
For some
I
reason.
agree.
Like, Bill Murray is an excellent track. Probably one of my favorites from Gorillaz in general, which is a really weird pick, but I don't know. Something about this project.
And I think it's actually a much better companion piece than G-Sides is to the debut album.
It's underrated.
I genuinely think that D-Sides is solid. I would put it in B tier, probably below the debut album. All right, the next one, probably one of their most controversial projects to date, The Fall, which I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do, was produced entirely on an iPad.
When I started music, until this day, I make music on an iPad, so I can respect this project. But it's just There's only like a couple tracks that I actually really like. Otherwise, it's eh. I like Armorillo, honestly. I think that's one of the best tracks on there.
Like, everything's really bass heavy because they were like, look what you
Yeah.
can do with an iPad. And they were also like, the reverb on this album is like actually gross. Like, I like a lot of reverb in my music. Vaporwave is my favorite music genre. But with like, when you got hip hop snares that echo and reverberate for like 2 whole bars,
Yeah.
it's just gross. I would put this in D tier, but creatively, where do you think it belongs?
I put it in C tier just because there are tracks in here that I actually really like. But I do acknowledge that it sucks compared to their other work.
All right, cool. Well, let's put it in C then.
Sounds good.
All right. The next one, we got the 2010 project, the same year, believe it or not, Plastic Beach.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite albums in general. I'd say it's S tier for sure.
I would agree it belongs in S tier. I don't know if it's my favorite Gorillaz album. It's probably the one I'd go back to listen to, like, all the way through again.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to listen to. Have you seen the the music videos accompanying it?
Yes, I think that's
They
when
did like a short film for it. I don't know if you can find it anymore, but it fits so well with what they made.
Plastic Beach deserves S tier. Let's move on for now. Gorillaz just took like a 7-year hiatus after dropping Plastic Beach. And
Yeah.
I remember in 2017, it's coming out for Humans. And it was like the most hype I had been for a new album in a very long time. And then the album came out. What's your take on Humans?
I just listened to it like an hour ago to refresh. Is not good. Even the tracks that I want to like, I just can't like. There's only one song that I actually like on the entire album.
Which one's that?
Saturn Bars. Like Andromeda is almost good, but I feel like it's ruined in the second half.
Yeah, it goes on a little too
I
long.
want to like this album so much, but I can't.
I think after not making music for like 7 years or whatever, this thing came out and like everyone was expecting like the next Demon Days, or they were expecting like,
Yeah.
you know, Gorillaz to sort of reinvent themselves entirely. I think they just kind of got too excited. Let's get everyone on this thing. Let's get Vince Staples. Let's get Danny Brown. Let's get like all the features we can get. Pusha T. Like everyone hopped on this thing. It's kind of the sloppiest of their albums in terms of like a
Yeah.
theme and like connecting certain sounds and elements from one song to the next. Like it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, in the interludes I thought were unnecessary.
Oh, there's too many of them.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few
Yeah.
albums that I think is like it feels longer than it actually is. It's only a little bit over an hour.
It's too much. It's way too much.
All right. Well, all that being said, where do you think it belongs?
I put it at D. I say it's their worst project.
Oh my
in my
gosh.
opinion. It's just not good.
I would say I like it more than The Fall. I think it belongs C tier.
Really?
I genuinely, yeah, no, definitely. I think just because the hype was there. I mean, they came back. They didn't come back really well, but it was better than at the height of their powers releasing some really mediocre iPad-produced
true.
album.
That's really true.
We've got the Now, the most recent album, came out in, I think, 2018.
I honestly think it's better than it's better than Humans, obviously, but it's just so middle of the road. I can't see it aging very well.
I get why you'd say that. I think it's definitely a way more solid project than Humans. They have a good amount of features, but it doesn't feel like Humans where it was like, oh, this guy's popular, like, let's put him in, like, let's do...
Yeah.
It felt like there was more cohesion to this. That being said, I don't think it's a very good genre blend. It's like some songs just feel like alternative rock songs, and then some songs straight up just feel like electronic songs, and there's not as...
It's mostly electronic, I feel like.
This one could be in B tier, but if you think it's more of a C or D, then I'd be willing to come down a bit.
I just don't think it's memorable enough to warrant being a B. Like, I could not name a single track off this album to save my life.
Fair enough. All right, well, where in C do you think it ranks? Is it better or worse than The Fall?
I'd say it's better.
Okay.
The production's better.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit better than G-Sides. So we'll put it right at the top of C tier. So right now, our tier list has Lakia Come Home down at the bottom in D tier. At the bottom of C tier, we've got Humans, then The Fall, and then we've got G-Sides, The Now Now. Then in B tier, we've got D-Sides, and then we've got the debut album of the Gorillaz. In A tier, we've got Demon Days, and then in S tier, we've got Plastic Beach. Is this gospel?
I think it is. I think it is.
I honestly, I'm just gonna have to hit it with the hard agree. I personally think that more of their albums are like A or B tier, but I think this is the right order. Like, this is the spectrum of best to worst. I think the lowest album is definitely Lakia Come Home, and I think the best album is definitely Plastic Beach. If this isn't your ideal Gorillaz tier list, leave us a comment below. Tell us what you think the best and worst Gorilla albums are. I'll leave a link to the description for you to make your own tier list over on TierMaker. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
And subscribe to me.
Yes. Thanks. And subscribe to Zizrael.
But subscribe to Nate first. He deserves it more.
Maybe. We'll say maybe. You put out content every day. I put out content every week.
Doesn't mean mine's any good.
But it's every day, bro.
It's every day, bro, with the Disney Channel flow. 5 mil on YouTube in 6 months. Never done